some numbers that I don't think have been seen yet on TV of pensions and how out of whack this is. It's breathtaking. Next. Now, if you look at this line by line, you can see who's getting the money. Here is years experience after, I think, 35 or whatever. You can retire after 35 years. You can retire. These people are retiring. This person's retiring with 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 26 million, 11 million, 10 million, 11 million, 9 million.
And this is assuming that they have maybe, I forget now how many years in retirement.
Yeah, I think it's
on defined
34 years,
right?
And you can retire at the age of 56.
And you assume that people live for a good long time after that.
29-year life expectancy.
29-year life expectancy. Now, the interesting thing about these deals is that these are defined benefit contributions. Now, if you have a private pension that you pay into because you're self-employed, you define the contribution you make, but the thing that defines your benefit is how successfully you invest that money. I know this because I do it myself.
Right.
If I was a public sector employee and had been in a public sector job for the last 20 or 30 years, I wouldn't need to have that worry because the guarantee is there. It's a benefit that's defined, and it's defined really at a high percentage of your final salary. Now, all over the Western world, in Europe and in the United States, this is the other big ticking time bomb. We know about the unfunded liabilities of Medicare and Social Security. What we hear much less about are these huge unfunded liabilities of, say, the Californian pension schemes. They're absolutely mind-blowing.
And when they say this, that they're the idea, well, all they ever say is they're going to have to fire teachers, they're going to have to fire, well, yeah, either that or people are going to have to work until 65 and not get this pension. Is there any way, this is state of Illinois, any way to pay just the first page of this pension?
It's pretty implausible, and Illinois, along with I think New Jersey and California, is one of the states with the biggest fiscal crisis in its hands. Now, the interesting thing, Glenn, is the way the fiscal crisis spreads across the Atlantic. It spreads into the states first before it hits the federal government, but it is starting to happen in these states that impossible choices are being made. Well, we have very little time, actually, because I think in the next year or so, this problem becomes a problem for the federal government, because the feds will be asked to bail out these states, at which point the deficit goes from 10% of GDP to what, 12%? 13%?
Right. He's harsh and mellow. When we come back, I want to talk about this book and what lessons we can learn from the past for tomorrow in America. Back in a second.